Good evening, welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Avneet Arora. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Wednesday, the 18th of February. Bangladesh court sentences Jamaat leader to death for war crimes. Pakistan Taliban chief Mullah Fazlullah could be eliminated soon, says Afghan army. And martial law declared in eastern Myanmar after clashes between army and rebels. And now for all the details. The International War Crimes Tribunal of Bangladesh has sentenced Abdus Subhan, vice president of the country's largest Islamic party, the Jamaat-e-Islami, to death for war crimes. He was accused of committing crimes against humanity during the 1971 Liberation War.
The International War Crimes Tribunal on Wednesday found Abdus Subhan guilty of 6 charges and handed down the death penalty to him. Subhan was accused of charges including murders, genocide, abductions, attacks on minorities, and leading a pro-Pakistani militia in 1971. The 79-year-old, who helped in establishing the Al-Badr force, had fled to Pakistan following the independence of Bangladesh. He returned to Bangladesh in 1975 and was also elected a lawmaker in 2001 during the BNP Jamaat government. The prosecution said they were happy with the ICT's judgment.
এর বিরুদ্ধে মোট 9টি অভিযোগ আনা হয়েছিল প্রসিকিউশন পক্ষ থেকে। এই 9টি অভিযোগের মধ্যে 6টি অভিযোগ সন্দেহাতীতভাবে প্রমাণিত হয়েছে এবং এই 6টি অভিযোগের মধ্যে 3টি অভিযোগে তাকে মৃত্যুদণ্ড দেওয়া হয়েছে, 2টিতে যাবজ্জীবন, 1টিতে 5 বছরের সাজা দেওয়া হয়েছে। তার বিরুদ্ধে হত্যা, এক্সটারমিনেশন এবং লুটতরাজ, নির্যাতন, অগ্নিসংযোগ এই সমস্ত অভিযোগ আনা হয়েছে এবং সবগুলি এই অভিযোগগুলি সন্দেহাতীতভাবে প্রমাণিত হয়েছে। তিনি 1971 সালে পাবনার জামাত ইসলামের আমির ছিলেন।
The ICT was set up in 2010 by the Awami League to try the local collaborators of Pakistan in 1971 when Bangladesh, then known as East Pakistan, tried to break away from West Pakistan. According to government records, some 3 million people were killed and 200,000 women were raped by Pakistani forces and its local allies like the Jamaat during the 9-month-long civil war. The ICT has so far sentenced more than a dozen leaders of the Jamaat to death for their involvement in war crimes. Freedom fighters in the Bangladeshi civil society have long been demanding a ban on the Jamaat and that it should also be tried in the ICT for war crimes.
Afghan security forces said they are closing in on Mullah Fazlullah, the fugitive chief of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Kabul and Islamabad have also agreed to jointly combat militancy in the region, which is threatening both the countries.
Pakistan Army Chief General Raheel Sharif and Chief of the ISI Lieutenant General Rizwan Akhtar met the top political and military leadership of Afghanistan in capital Kabul on Tuesday. This was the second visit of General Sharif to Afghanistan in 2 months following the Peshawar Army school attack, which Pakistan Taliban claimed responsibility. Pakistan had urged Afghan to hunt down the TTP chief Mullah Fazlullah, who is believed to be hiding in the mountainous regions of Afghanistan. Afghanistan had recently launched a crackdown in its border with Pakistan targeting TTP hideouts. Afghan forces informed the Pakistani delegation that they are tightening the noose around Fazlullah. General Sharif said the two neighbors should jointly combat terrorism in the region.
I would say enemies of Afghanistan are enemies of Pakistan, and we are there to stand by you and fight this war till the end. And this menace of terrorism, I think, which has hurt both Afghanistan and Pakistan, needs to be tackled boldly.
Both Afghanistan and Pakistan has accused each other of sheltering militant groups responsible for terror attack in their respective countries. Kabul claims that the Afghan Taliban and the Haqqanis are given refuge in Pakistan, while Islamabad says the TTP launches its strikes inside Pakistan from Afghanistan. However, the strained relations between the two countries have improved under the new Afghan government and the Pakistan army crackdown on the Haqqanis in Waziristan.
Indian government will announce more reforms and policies for foreign investors, Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj has said. Swaraj, who is on a 2-day visit to Oman, also held a number of meetings with the political and business leaders there.
Foreign Minister Sushma Swaraj met the Indian diaspora in Oman on Wednesday as part of a two-day visit to the country. Swaraj assured the Indian community that the government will be introducing more investor-friendly policies focusing on foreigners and non-resident Indians. Swaraj also lauded the contribution of the Indian community in Oman in the economy of the oil-rich country.
By providing highly skilled service at a competitive cost, our community's role has become indispensable for the Omani economy. Those sustained remittances over the years have contributed to our foreign exchange reserves and are a valuable livelihood source for millions of dependents in India. May I add that India is a recipient of the largest global remittances sent by the expatriate populations anywhere in the world, and the Gulf region is the largest source of these remittances for us.
Swaraj, who reached Muscat on Tuesday, had also meetings with her counterpart Yusuf bin Alawi bin Abdullah. Both the leaders discussed a number of subjects including bilateral trade and a possible visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Muscat later this year. Swaraj's maiden visit to Oman also comes at a time when the two countries are marking the 60th anniversary of establishing bilateral relations. Oman has an estimated 700,000 Indian population working in various sectors. The two countries also enjoy robust trade relations which stood at $5.7 billion in 2013-14, with India importing mostly oil from Oman.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina has urged the people of the country to stand united against the ongoing violence in the country. So far, more than 80 people have been killed in political violence unleashed by the Bangladesh Nationalist Party and its allies since January.
Bangladesh Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina on Tuesday listened to the harrowing experiences of political violence by the BNP and assured all support to the victims from the government. Attending a discussion in capital Dhaka on the prevailing political situation, the Bangladesh Premier broke into tears as the victims described their ordeal. She said those killed in the nearly 1.5-month-long violence should be recognized as martyrs. Prime Minister Hasina also said time has come for the people of Bangladesh to stand together and resist the violence that is hurting the country.
বাংলাদেশে কোনো জঙ্গি সন্ত্রাসীর স্থান হবে না, তার জন্য দেশবাসীকে আমি আহ্বান জানাচ্ছি। অনেক সাধারণ মানুষ, রিকশাওয়ালা থেকে শুরু করে অনেকেই যারা এই ধরনের বোমা মেরেছে তাদেরকে ধরিয়ে দিয়েছে। দেশের মানুষকে এইভাবেই সচেতন হয়ে দাঁড়াতে হবে। যারা এই ধরনের অপকর্ম করবে সঙ্গে সঙ্গে তাদের বিরুদ্ধে ব্যবস্থা নিতে হবে, তাহলে এরা থামবে, তাছাড়া এরা থামবে না।
The BNP and its 18-party alliance have been organizing regular blockades and an indefinite shutdown across the country to pressurize government to announce fresh general elections under a caretaker administration. The BNP and its allies had boycotted the polls last year, which the Awami League swept with more than 3/4 majority. The non-partisan caretaker system, which the BNP is demanding, has been annulled by the Supreme Court and was subsequently abolished by the Parliament in 2011.
Myanmar has declared a state of emergency in its eastern Kokang region. This comes after a Red Cross convoy came under attack in the area late on Tuesday.
Thousands have fled Kokang in eastern Myanmar after a fresh instance of ethnic violence broke out in this sensitive area. The government has announced a state of emergency and imposed 3-month martial law in the region to prevent the spread of violence. Meanwhile, a Red Cross convoy which was involved in relief operations in the troubled area came under attack by unidentified men. Confirming the attack, the Red Cross said it was the first such attack on them in the country and there were no casualties. Government has blamed an ethnic Kokang force, Myanmar National Democratic Alliance Army, for the attack on the Red Cross. Kokang, which is the stronghold of the ethnic group, has been in the grip of violence since earlier this month after clashes broke out between the army and Kokang rebels. A similar clash in 2009 had displaced tens of thousands of Kokangs into southwestern China.
The social and health indicators of Gilgit-Baltistan rank among the worst in the world. Adding to this are the health status and quality of life, which are severely affected by lack of basic social infrastructure. A report.
The remote region of Gilgit-Baltistan, illegally occupied by Pakistan for decades, has 25 small healthcare centers. Officially, there are 14 doctors over an area of 27,000 square miles, but in actual terms, not even those are available at work. Gilgit, the main town, has only one city hospital. But the condition there is appalling, with a shortage of medicines, trained staff and lack of inpatient facilities.
पॉपुलेशन के लिहाज से जितने हमारे विलेजेस हैं गिलगित बल्तिस्तान में, वो सब गिलगित की तरफ रुख करते हैं। ये जितनी आवाम का हुजूम गिलगित की तरफ आता है, उसके हिसाब से यहाँ पे ऑलरेडी गिलगित के लिए यहाँ डॉक्टर्स नाकाफ़ी हैं। तकरीबन डिपार्टमेंट्स बने हुए हैं, लेकिन वहाँ पे अमला मौजूद नहीं है डॉक्टर का। अक्सर ये होता है कि वो मजबूरन काम चलाने के लिए डॉक्टरों की जगह पे वो कंप्यूटर्स काम चला रहे होते हैं, हत्ता कि ऑपरेशन तक कंप्यूटर्स करते हैं। बाद ऐसे मौत हुए हैं कि यहाँ पे छोटे कंप्यूटर जो होते हैं वो सीरियस पेशेंट्स को गलत इंजेक्शन लगवा के यहाँ पे मौत हुई है हॉस्पिटल्स में।
With the government allocating no funds to the area, medical infrastructure has remained poor for years now. The announcement by the Pakistani government of $100 million grant to build a medical college and hospital in every district of Gilgit has also come to naught. Areas like Skardu and Astor, which were declared major towns in August 2009, are yet to have any proper healthcare system. There are no surgeons and facilities for surgeries.
यहाँ गिलगित सिटी के अलावा जो दूर दराज से इलाके हैं, गाँव हैं, वो ज़्यादातर इस तरह हैं कि गिलगित से काफ़ी डिस्टेंस होता है उनके लिए। कोई 300 किलोमीटर 400 किलोमीटर के आसपास गिलगित में छोटे छोटे विलेजेस हैं, जहाँ की आबादी लाखों में भी है। वो दूर दूर तक पहाड़ी एरियाज में फैले हुए हैं। वहाँ तो सेहत के बिल्कुल कोई मरकज़ का नाम निशान तक मौजूद नहीं होता है। वहाँ यह होता है कि अक्सर लोग गिलगित नहीं पहुँच पाते हैं, उनके पास इतनी हैसियत नहीं होती कि वो गिलगित अपने पेशेंट्स को इलाज के लिए लेकर आ जाएं। वहाँ कोई देसी तरीके से अपने मरीजों के इलाज करते हैं वो लोग, और इसी तरह से वो दम तोड़ जाते हैं मरीज, उनका कोई पुरसान हाल है ही नहीं।
Women are the worst affected. There is not even a single maternity care center or a gynecologist in the entire region. Maternal mortality is high. 1 in 38 here dies during childbirth.
डिलीवरी के यहाँ पे मसाइल है, लोग घरों में डिलीवरी के मसाइल में घरों में इनके मौत वाक़ हो जाती है, बच्चों की डेथ हो जाती है। इसके अलावा जो बच्चे हॉस्पिटल में जो सेहत के मराकज़ है, वहाँ पे बच्चों का छोटे जो बर्थ बेबीज़ होते हैं, उनके सेहत के मसाइल में उनके लिए काफ़ी मुश्किलात होती हैं, बल्कि न होने के बराबर है। अक्सर 50% से 60% ऐसे बच्चे हैं जो बर्थ के बाद यहाँ पे उनकी मौत वाक़ हो जाती है, उनका प्रॉपर इलाज के लिए कोई सिस्टम मौजूद नहीं है।
Years of neglect by Pakistan have pushed the people of this region into penury, and most survive on less than $50 per day. Many are forced to spend a major portion of their incomes for private health services. Those who cannot afford to pay do not get any treatment here.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Bangladesh court sentences Jamaat leader to death for war crimes. Pakistan Taliban chief Mullah Fazlullah could be eliminated soon, says Afghan army. And martial law declared in eastern Myanmar after clashes between army and rebels. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.